I've carried this key organizer every single day for the past 5 years, and today I'm retiring it, and I want to see exactly how much better I've gotten. Welcome back, it's Will. So 5 years ago, this was one of the hardest builds I'd done. It was Crocodile, it was lining, it was raising, it was all of the things at once in the same thing. Was I happy with it? Honestly, looking back at it, not so much. But this new one is going to be outrageously beautiful. I have wanted a key organizer forever. I loved the orbit key design with the swivelly bit in the middle. But what kind of leather worker buys a leather key organizer? It just isn't logical now, is it? So I thought you can go on their website. This is not sponsored, don't come at me. This is definitely not sponsored. But you can go on their website, you can buy the little adjustment things, the little screwy bits on the top. It comes in a set. So I thought I'd buy one, I'd make the pattern, and I would see what happens. And that was the result. A sort of grey thing, not particularly great. I didn't know how scales worked. I didn't know the way in which they bent. I didn't know much about Crocodile at all, really. So it was usable, and I've used it every day since. This new one is going to be spectacular. I've already finished it, so I know it is. So we're lining it, we're reinforcing it, we're raising it, and we're using Crocodile. We're going to be lining it with a Remy Cariat grained calf. I love this stuff. I split it down to 1mm, and I used a 0.6 bonded leather. It's a little bit thinner bonded leather than I am used to using. However, it's a bonded leather that is perfect for this because I don't want much thickness. I want this to be quite slender, but I needed the bonded leather for the rigidity, because the calf skin is really soft. Remy Cariat is known for very soft calf skin. Beautiful, but soft. So that's what we did. We backed it using a water-based adhesive, and we put it onto the Remy Cariat. If you want to learn more about scales, about how Crocodile works, about all of the other things, don't forget to come join my school. The link is in the description. The link is in the first comment, and I cannot wait to see you over there. But anyway, I am going to be doing a full tutorial on how to cut Crocodile, because it is not as simple as put your pattern down and start cutting. The scales work in some funky directions in different parts of the skin. Now, the general rule I use for putting a padding strip, now this is the same for wallets, for watch straps, for belts, for key organizers apparently, is you want 6mm in from the edge. That is because the middle of your stitching line is 3mm from the edge, well mine is. You have a 1.5mm creasing line, well I do, and it's quite important to bevel the edge, just allowing the leather to fold over really, really nicely. So that is quite an important step. You do want to make sure that you've got a nice amount of glue in there. What I've found, a little hack for you guys, is if you put your glue on and let it go off completely, you can then use that glue to hold it on the embossing plate perfectly. It works phenomenally. I'd never thought about it before, but it doesn't stick permanently because there's no glue on the embossing plate. And then you can use a ruler to have a straight line. So leather is very bendy. If you just put it down by itself, it won't be perfectly straight. But if you put it down against a ruler is perfectly straight. You might have just noticed I used a French beveler. I very rarely use it, but it was perfect for this because that strip is actually the width of the French beveler. I didn't even think about it before. That Crocodile, I used a metric boatload of glue on. Why did I do that? A, I'm not splitting it, so it's not as thin, so I wanted it to be able to stick really well into the crevices. And B, Crocodile isn't actually as flexible as people think it is. Sorry about the blurry, I forgot to do the focus on that shot, I do apologise. But anyway, Crocodile is not as moldable as people think it is. So you need a lot of sticking power. And then you need a lot of just manual brute force to push it into the raising strip, basically. But the important thing when you're making something that folds is gluing it on that curve, because if you glue it flat and then bend it, you will get stretching, which you don't want. So glue it on a curve. But also don't worry about putting it straight again. That curve is to let the leather settle in a curved position. It doesn't force it in there permanently. You can flatten it afterwards, absolutely fine. Make sure the glue's set so it doesn't peel apart. But that curve will still be in there because you formed it into that curve when you made it, when you stuck it together. I am notoriously bad at cutting round things. I always have been. Don't know why. Can't do it. I've tried the zillion straight line approach. I've tried cutting around a metal form. I can't do it. So I found these punches in my drawer. I've had them probably for 5 years. I use them maybe once a month. Very, 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 very infrequently. Now I need your help, and I need all of your help, please. My creaser is breaking. I was given this creaser by my parents a couple of years after I started leatherwork. You obviously don't buy a creaser as your first thing because you've got to have the iron and everything else. But I was given my FN3 probably 5 or 6 years ago, which you'll know if you're on my Skool. If you're not on my Skool, come join my Skool. I will keep saying it until all of you are there. It's that simple. I'm putting patterns up and everything. But anyway, that creaser is breaking. And I'm a bit sad about it. So what I need is I need you guys to tell me how to fix it. Basically, where the tool meets the brass knurly bit at the bottom, it's wobbling. Now that means that I can't put the full force down. That means that I can't put as much force as I need to get a really, really crisp creasing line. So I need you guys to tell me how to fix it. The first person to tell me how to fix it in a way that actually works, and I will pick the winner of this. I haven't done a competition on my channel in a long time, but this is how much this creaser means to me. The first person who tells me how to fix this without having to buy a new one, which I'm not going to do, I will make a wallet for you for free. I don't know which type yet, and I don't know which leather yet, because I've just thought about it whilst doing this voiceover right now. I hope this video goes viral so that I fix my thing and one of you gets a wallet. So share this with everyone. Share this with absolutely everyone. I will pick a winner over on my Skool. I won't do it here because YouTube's I think it's gambling according to YouTube. I'm not sure. But anyway, the first person who tells me how to fix my creaser gets a free wallet. That free wallet is a lot more expensive than a creaser is, but that creaser has a lot of value in my heart. So help me. And it is time to do a million layers of edge paint. I get asked by you guys so many times, how do I do my edge paint? So I have decided to do a full enormous tutorial for you guys. It's huge. It's like I've got about 45 minutes of raw footage, something like that, maybe 2 hours of raw footage, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you all of the secrets, every single step of how I do my perfect edge paint. It will be over on my Skool, and I will keep banging on about my Skool until every single one of you is joined, because it's amazing. But it's over there. It will be over there shortly anyway, so come join, ready for it. It's free to join. The courses are not free, obviously, but it's free to join. So come help. Come win a free wallet, and I will see you soon. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll let you finish the beautiful B-roll at the end by yourself. Have a phenomenal weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way.